PQ, along with Roger, KO4QMM, and Vicky, KE8VKY. We'll be doing this week's East Coast Reflector Tech Net number 666. Number 666. On this April 7th already. Here we are in April. Coming up this week, tomorrow night is our town hall meeting. I'm sorry, tomorrow night is open mic. Tomorrow's Wednesday is open mic night. The group has two people lined up as they usually do for half-hour sessions. So that's 8 o'clock in the East Coast, or on the East Coast Reflector. Then tonight is our town hall meeting. So come join us in the Zoom room and bring your thoughts, ideas, what have you with you on Thursday night. It's always a good discussion for an hour to hour and a half, something like that. And of course Friday night is our youth net. Please don't forget Friday night at 8 o'clock to support our youth. At 8 o'clock on Friday. And of course at 11 o'clock on Saturday night is Alex and the Trivia Net. We've been really trying to talk the Trivia Net up because Alex puts a lot of time into it. He has a question that he asks everybody. It's a trivia question with 3 possible answers that he asks everybody with individual questions to everybody. So a lot of work goes into that. So we were talking here the other day in the Zoom room, so we really need to get some more people to check in. Of course, I don't know how many more you can take. They run till 1:45, from 11 to almost 20 to 1 as it is. But come join Alex anyway at 11 o'clock on Saturday night. We're going to change things around a little bit here tonight, and some of you might remember maybe a year ago we used to see who our new users were. If you were new to the net, we used to get up to the top, put you up at the top of the net. So we thought we'd do that again. Roger had that idea, and I thought it was a good idea. Roger, co-host, of course, here with me, and Roger suggested that we bring our new users and welcome them up at the top of the net. So that's what we're going to do here tonight. I'm going to send it over to Kevin, and he's going to tell us what he has in the swap shop. Then I will send it over to Charles, KC6UFM, and Charles is going to look at the VNA, the Nano VNA versus an antenna analyzer. The Nano VNA versus antenna analyzer for an opening discussion for a few minutes. So let me send it up to Kevin, see what he has on the swap and shop this week. Good evening to you, Kevin. And our question tonight for everybody, and we do this about once a year too, we kind of ask, what changes would you like to see on the East Coast Reflector Tech Net? What changes in this net would you like to see? We made some changes a while back. We did away with the call districts. Some people loved it, some people hated it. But we did everything, but let's talk tonight. Make some little notes. Our users a chance to voice their opinion. What would you like to see on the TechNet? So let me send it to Kevin, and then we'll go to Charles, and we'll take our users, and then we'll take stations with questions. Good evening, Kevin, VE3BZ. Sorry about that. Good evening, Nick. This is Kevin, VE3BZ. I don't have anything again this week. But as I always say, if you have anything for the swap and shop, eastcoastreflector.com, then click on Contact ECR Net Submissions, or just email to me. My email is good on QRZ. It's ve3bz@rogers.com. And for the question tonight, I remember being against dropping the call districts, but that turned out to be a pretty good idea. I kind of like the net is now. It flows much better than it used to. So I can't think of anything to change. I say leave it the way it is and see what happens. All right, thank you, Dick. Back to you, VE3BZ. All right, Kevin. Well, that's what we want to hear. We want to hear from everybody, our team members, of course, as well as you are. Nothing in the swap shop, so we need to let Kevin know. And I think Charles is going to have some stuff for you. I saw that. I think I saw that in an email somewhere, Charles. Send it over to you. And again, Charles is going to talk a little about the nano VNA versus an antenna analyzer. Good evening to you, Charles. This is Dick, WB2JPQ.
Good evening, Dick, and everyone on the Tech Net. Many thanks to you and Roger, Dick, for herding cats here tonight, and to Vicki for trying to keep an eye on where the cats are trying to run off to, but sometimes it can be a losing battle. As far as the question is concerned, obviously I would like to see more questions from the East Coast Reflector fans there, but I'm not exactly sure what we could do as team members to encourage that. But other than to say, hey, if you got a question, feel free to ask. No question is too simple. No question too complicated. But we'll try and get you an answer and at least get you pointed in the right direction. But that's what I would like to see is more questions. But and just for those who might know what I'm talking about, the recent Shapley model here, if you've ever designed a 240 volt, 60 amp Variac, you'll understand just exactly why I'm hanging on to one that is 50 years old. So, that's going to come into play here, the amplifiers. But as far as the topic tonight, a lot of people go back and forth, and there seem to be camps for both antenna analyzers and nano VNAs, and not a whole lot of gray zone, seems like, between the two. And some people are pretty rabid on both sides, but when you're getting ready to lay down your hard-earned cash, just a few things that you need to be aware of. Let me reset here. Okay, basically, they do the same job in many, many cases. The big difference between a nano VNA and an antenna analyzer is that the nano VNA gets you a little closer to the data. There's not a whole lot of software between you and the raw data. And that translates into being able to interpret the data and manipulate the data and utilize the data in ways that an antenna analyzer might not allow you to do, at least not easily. On the other hand, the antenna analyzer is a pretty smart device. The modern ones, they've got a load of software in there. They can do a whole bunch of things that just units from 5 or 6 years ago could not do. They have radically improved, but that software interprets the data for you, and here's the key. It interprets the data for you in the way that the manufacturer thinks that it should be interpreted and presented. You have no option on what that data comes back and tells you. But with that said, probably for most hams, for the vast majority of hams, an antenna analyzer is going to be easier to use in a practical sense. You don't need to know a whole lot about what's going on behind the scenes. You need to know how to read and use a Smith chart. The antenna analyzer just gives you the answer that is going to help you out. Reset. But again, the Nano VNA, that is all kind of left up to you. You know, it will present you a Smith chart, but it's up to you to interpret that Smith chart and to read it. And to do that, you have to know how to do it and what all these circles and lines and curves and everything on a Smith chart mean, which are good things to know, don't get me wrong. But, you know, does the average ham just wanting to know if, you know, how his antenna is performing, you know, how close to resonant it is, and those sorts of things, does the average ham need? Honestly, probably not. On the other hand, you can pick up Nano VNAs all day long for less than $100. Sometimes a lot less than $100. The cheapest antenna analyzers are going to be 2 to 3 times that. So you're paying for that software, that convenience, that easy user interface. Those are things you have to pay for. So, you know, each person needs to make his own decision. You know, what do you want and what do you need? You know, if you want to learn all these intricacies, you want to learn how to use a Smith chart and what all those curly cues mean, a Nano VNA might be the way to go. Gives you a lot more flexibility. You're not locked into what the software on the analyzer says you need to be able to do. On the other hand, you just want to make a quick check. Am I somewhere at least close to resonant? How long my feed line? Are there any impedance bumps along my feed lines? Any opens? Any shorts? An analyzer may very well be go if you don't mind paying the price. So, you know, there is no right answer. There is no right or wrong, you know, for a VNA versus an analyzer. It's just something that you have to look at yourself, and you'll have the information available to where you can make an informed decision. Because there's nothing worse than buying an antenna analyzer and going, gee, I don't need all this stuff. Why did I pay $500? By the same token, there's no joy in having a Nano VNA and looking at it and go, well, I saved $250, but I have no clue what to do with this thing. So, you know, do a little research, think about what you need and what you want, and then make an informed decision when you purchase. Back over to you, Dick. KC6, UFM, back to net control.
Well, thank you, Charles. There might be some questions for you later on that subject. But at this time, let's go back a little bit like we used to and see if I have any stations up there that are newly licensed or that have never checked into this tech net before. This is what we used to do, get the new users to this net up at the top of the net. So do I have anybody that has not checked into this, that has never checked into this net before? You might have been on the East Coast Reflector, you might have been on the Morning Brew, or the Trivia Net, or one of the other nets. But if you've never checked into this net before, please give me your call sign twice. Vicki will get you in the log, and we will get you up at the top of the net and say hello. And we'll go on to stations with questions. So anybody that has never checked into this net before, call signs twice, please. This is Dick, WB2JPQ.
Kilo 5, X-ray uniform. KK5, XU, Danny, Kilo, Texas.
My name is Frank, coming out of Willoughby Hills, Ohio.
Kilo, Mike, 7, Foxtrot, uniform.
This is Kilo 5, X-ray uniform. KK5, XU, Danny, and Texas.
All right, let me hold up there for a minute. From the bottom up, we got, we will verify this call sign in a minute, KM7FFU. Maybe that's brand new, or we might have it wrong. KD8JKK. Francisco, who is in, yes, Frank, that's in the here. What's this? I was going to say, I just saw that call a little earlier tonight. Frank is in here with me. And Danny from Cut and Shoot, Texas, KK5XU. Danny, our sheet says that you have been in here before. You came up, I guess, to be fair to everybody else, I'll have to ask you to call in with the regular check-ins or if you have a question. So we'll take you off the list, KK5XU. I'm sorry, but our system says that you have checked into this net before. So let me go to KD8JKK. Frank, and good evening to you. Probably will not be able to answer the question if you've never been on the net before. We realize that, but welcome and tell us a little bit about yourself. Screen just went screwball here. Francesco there, KD8JKK, and I think it's Frank because that's what it says in the Zoom, so we'll change that to Frank. So good evening, Frank, and how long have you been an amateur, and how did you find the East Coast Reflector?
Hey, yeah, so it's pronounced Francesco. Don't worry, everybody gets it wrong. I always get Francesco Cantana. That's what everybody always pronounces my name as. But yeah, you can just call me Frank. I've had my ham radio license since 2008, but I never really got into the hobby. I always kept it renewed, though. I think I had to renew it. I renewed it like 2 years late back in 2020. Yeah, I don't know. A buddy of mine and I, we just decided one day we wanted to have a way to communicate long distance without a cell phone. And, you know, in case the one day, that's why we got into it. Then I just, you know, it just became sort of like a fun little side thing, but I never got too seriously into the hobby. Then last year I bought a new radio, a little handheld unit, a little cheap Baofeng BF F8 HP Pro. These naming schemes, they got to change them to something cool. But, and I didn't really mess with it too much. I programmed it with Chirp and just hit a few repeaters a couple of times. And then, I don't know, a couple of days ago we had a big storm here. So that was the first thing I grabbed when I brought the family down into the basement. We had the tornado sirens and stuff going off, and I was like, you know what? I think it's time to finally learn about that a license for 18 years, or however long it's been. I got the link, and I downloaded the app to my PC, and you guys, I was talking with the AI about popular Echolink nodes, and you guys came up. That's how I found you, and that's why I'm here. I checked in a little bit earlier and joined the Zoom call and was told that there was a net tonight, so I thought I'd join in. Anyway, if you have any other questions for me, that's cool. If not, this is KD8JKK.
Thanks for sharing, Frank. I guess I should have realized the KD8 could have been, was a ways out. I was thinking here tonight when I saw you in the Zoom room that you were a brand new amateur, but you've been licensed for quite a while and got a story. And I'm glad you're on the air. Come across so many people over the years that have gotten a license and just kind of done nothing with it. So it's all about getting on and having fun, and you're starting to do that. Next up is KM7FFU, if we have that correct. It's not coming up on QRZ. Do we have that call right, or perhaps it's a brand new call, something that resembles that KM7FFU?
Tango Bravo Foxtrot.
There was a station that called in. They new to this net, something KM7FFU or something like that. Last call for him, please. All right, who Who else do I have tonight? There was a BTF, Vicky got 5 BTF that came from VE5 land. Have you ever checked into this net before, sir? I think it might be VE5, BTF, something like that. Good evening. BTF station I called in. Your complete call sign, please.
5 Tango Bravo Foxtrot. Is that you're referring to me?
If your suffix is BT or TBF, yep. But you're quick keying, and we're missing your prefix. So you're calling in has never checked into this net before. We get your call sign. We'll tell you whether you checked in. Good evening.
Victor Echo 5 Tango Bravo Foxtrot, and my QTH is in Saskatchewan.
Great. Well, why don't you give us your name? It's not coming up for some reason here on QRZ tonight. BE5 TBF. Our question tonight, which you won't be able to answer because you haven't been on it before, but we're looking for what changes would you like to see on this TechNet. But good evening to you, and give us your name. We'll get you logged in here.
Tim Tango India Mike. I'm a newbie on the radio. I just got my license here a week and a half ago, and the radio here last Friday or Thursday.
Well, great, Tim. That's probably why you're not picking up on QRZ. Probably hasn't got the QRZ yet. So, well, welcome to the East Coast Reflector Tech Net. We're here every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock East Coast time. We were just saying in the Zoom room before, we're coming up, I think it's June 6th, we're coming up on 13 years. Well, who else do we have out there tonight before we get into the technical questions and that has never checked into this net before? If you've never checked into this net, please give me your call sign twice.
One question, what is your QTH?
Again, that's Kilo Charlie 1 Victor Hotel Papa from West Suffolk, Connecticut.
Buffalo, New York, by about 25 miles.
Hi, this is Kilo Romeo 4, Kilo November Echo, Rebecca from Rosemark, Tennessee, just outside of Memphis. First time on the Echo Link, first time on this station at all. New ham operator, and glad to be here. KR4KNE.
Rebecca, you were coming in here. I guess he didn't get you up on the line. There you go. There you go. Well, great. Well, great. First time KR4KNE. Looks like first time check-in, so great. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Rebecca. Let's make sure we have the call sign right. KR4KNE, is that correct?
That is correct. KR4, Kilo Romeo 4, Kilo November Echo. Yes, that is the correct call sign. Just got my tech in general last month, and I'm planning to take my extra exam in about a week, but we'll see how that goes. I'm a teacher out here in Tennessee. I teach art, and I love science, and I'm learning all about the hobby and just excited to start into it. Wish I would have done it sooner.
It's great to have you with us tonight. We do see that you do not have a current email address on your QRZ.com page. And if you did, or if you put a public email address on, our system will send you a welcome packet, tell you all about the East Coast Reflector and the nets and the things that we provide here, our Zoom room and so forth and so on. So a little homework assignment, seeing that you're a teacher. I'm going to be the teacher tonight and ask you to please go to QRZ.com and put a current email address on, and I think that's going to be the same for Frank up there. It looks like he doesn't have one either. So thanks for checking in, Rebecca, and we're here every Tuesday night. Go ahead.
KR4KNE Rebecca. Yes, I'll go to QRZ and .com, and I'll get an email in there for you, no problem. All right, thank you.
As you do. Who else do I have? Somebody that has, people that have never checked into this step before. We're off to a pretty good start. This is Dick WB2JPQ.
QOX, Devon in Greenfield, Ohio, Highland County.
November 8th, we just landed in Detroit, Michigan. All right, let me hold up there. Greenfield, Ohio, at 9QOX. Good evening. And John from Lake Worth, Florida, KB4TEZ. And Jay from Detroit called in, N8WT. Jay, you came up red on my screen here tonight, indicating that you have checked into this net before. So to be fair to everyone, we'll have to ask you to call in with the general check-ins later on this evening. Let me go on up to John, Lake Worth, Florida. Good evening, B4TEZ. And obviously you won't be able to answer our question tonight. You've never checked into this net before, but is what changes would you like to see on this TechNet? So obviously, again, John, you won't be able to answer the question, but tell us a little bit about yourself and welcome.
Well, thank you, and to the N8, we just landed station. I'm sure you're happy with Michigan, and the game last night. That's where my wife is from, Detroit. Long-time friend, 30-plus years from Lou, K4EPS. Just kind of got into the all-star side of things. Been a ham for a long time, and just kind of got back into the hobby a few years ago. Myself, I'm in the fire and security industry, and we do all the security in the CCTV and access control up at SpaceX. So I'm up in the a bit, and just happened to have the radio on, and I heard the net going on and just wanted to check in because I'm literally 3 miles from the Lake Worth repeater, so I thought I would check in. Back to net control, KB4TEZ.
5.45 repeater, WR4 APC.
Well, that's not supposed to be coming across, but John, well, welcome. And I've known Lou for many, many years myself. Back IRLP days, 20-some years ago, Lou was, I guess, along with some of us, cutting their teeth on IRLP, and I finally got a chance to meet Lou a couple of years ago, kind of accidentally at Dayton. So glad we're welcome Lou and his connections that he connects up to all of our nets, and he usually checks into the morning brew. So we'll look for you again, John, and you as well as Rebecca. Got a little homework assignment for you. You did not have an email at your QRZ page either. So if you do put one on, the public, make it public. Our system will send you a welcome packet. Diamond in Greenfield, Ohio. Good evening to you. N9QOX.
Good evening, Net Control and everyone on the net. This is the QOX in Greenfield, Ohio. I don't think I've checked into this net. Am I correct?
Well, our system says you have not, so we have to go with that.
Okay, Roger. I checked into a lot of nets, especially since we got an All-Star last year. Been a ham for 33 years now, and moved out here to Ohio from Illinois in September 2023, and currently the Vice President of the local club here at the Highland Amateur Radio Association, and also the admin and net control for the South 40 net, which is 7 days a week at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll have to be switching over here pretty soon. 9 p.m. Eastern on 669400. That's the node number. It's an internet-connected net with repeat course and personal nodes. So if anybody would like to check in on that one, you're more than welcome to. 669400. And my XYL KC9ZQN is net control tonight. We'll turn it back to you. Let's say 7-3 all around. This is N9QOX from Southern Ohio.
All right, thank you for stopping in and saying hello. Moving along, who else do we have? If you've never checked into this net before, once again, we'd like to get you up at the top of the net and welcome you. So if you've never checked in, call signs twice. 32 past the hour, this is Dick, WB2JPQ.
I don't remember if I did or not, but it's Kilo Echo 2, Bravo Delta Oscar, Kilo Echo 2, Bravo Delta Oscar. If I have before, my apologies.
Kilo Romeo 4, Hotel Bravo, Quebec. Kilo Romeo 4, Hotel Bravo, Quebec.
Two more. We'll probably end it with you two. We got Neil, KR4HBQ, and Richard, KE2BDO. Richard, it comes up red, so obviously you have checked in to this net before, so I'll have to ask you as well to come in with the general check-ins. But let me do Neil, then we'll go to stations with questions. And Neil, good evening to you, and tell us a little bit about you. Welcome.
Good evening back at you. Calling in from Durham, North Carolina, aka Bull Durham. Got my license, took my test during the shutdown and got my license back in November. Slowly been getting myself back on the air, or onto the air. Picked up built out a little radioless all-star node here. I'm having problems hitting repeaters in my house with a little HT, but hopefully get the radio up and running soon so I can start actually doing some more actual radio work.
Oh, I see that you're coming in on your own radioless node, so sounds good, Neil. Well, thanks for being there as well. All right, let's take stations with amateur radio-related questions. You might have a question for Charles on the antenna analyzer versus the VNA. Is a little open tonight? Or any general amateur radio-related questions, please give us your call sign twice. Miss Vicki will get you in a log.
I'm Victor, WQ9V.
For India Tango Alpha, K4ITA.
got a couple there. Good evening to you, Leo. We'll get with you in just a minute. And we got Ken from Brownsville, WQ9B. Good evening, Ken. Thanks for your email this morning. And for what it's worth, I'm not sure if this is going to act up tonight, but Ken brought up this morning in an email to me that on the text line, some people are not getting replies back. It's our, Joe says it's our provider. It was yesterday. We know about it yesterday morning, but apparently it's still doing it today. So if you do text in and you don't get a reply, don't worry about it. Chances are we're getting the text. You're just not getting the reply. I'm not sure if that's happening tonight, but if it does, don't keep texting in. We'll assume that you just assume you got it. And I had another question that came in today in the log. The logger puts the station on the log sheet. So if you're following along the text log and you text in and you don't see your call sign immediately, that's the way it's designed. They're put in basically manual when we call for them. So the call sign does not pop up automatically on the log sheet as many think. And I mention that tonight because morning brew is a little bit different. Most of the people, 65 text check-ins in the morning, a little bit more familiar with the text check-ins than people here on the TechNet. We don't get as many text check-ins. So anyway, let me go to Ken, Q9B. What's your question tonight? Good evening, Ken.
And everybody who's H4, that's a Hotel 4, and I know there is a way using this meter and some sort of antenna, I don't know what, to trace down RFI. Does anybody know how that is done and procedure? WQ9B, thank you.
Would be a first for me, Ken. I've never heard of that. Charles, have you?
Thank you, Dick. This is KC6UFM, Charles. Yeah, Ken, I can envision a way that it might be done, but it certainly is not going to be ideal. A better solution and the tool that you need to do what you're talking about is a spectrum analyzer. This is a similar device called a Tiny SA. They are a little more pricey than the Nano VNAs, in the $150 to $200 range, but it is basically a miniature spectrum analyzer. So, $200 versus $20,000 or $30,000. That is actually the tool that you would want to use for that. As I say, I can envision a way that the Nano VNA might be pressed into use for that, but it is going to be very, very far from optimal. The solution I'm envisioning would be iffy at best, but let me put it that way. You're not going to get very reliable results going this route, and it's going to be an absolute nightmare to operate. With that said, the Tiny SA, I recently, well, not recently, it's been about a year and a half ago now, but I have one that I'm just absolutely in love with. You got a little bit of interference going on or something of that nature, you just fire that thing up, start walking around the house, and it will pop off and tell you where you're at. On the other hand, one of the old pocket radios, anybody remember those? It will do the same thing. So, you don't really need a high-tech solution if you're looking in your house, but for what you're talking about, a Tiny SA is going to be a much back over to you, Dick, KC6UFM, back to that control.
Thank you, Charles. I agree with the latter part of that, Ken. I represented a company as supervisor of communications for many years, and radio and television interference came under my jurisdiction, and thousands and thousands of complaints I have seen, worked with people, worked with the FCC on over the years and so forth, and believe me, we had thousands and thousands of dollars worth of test equipment, and a little pocket transistor radio was the technician's go-to choice. Turn it to where there's no stations and walk around and see where the noise gets louder, and it'll never look simple. $29, $30. The guys are buying them on Amazon. Vicky bought one here about a year. People have. It's good to have around, especially your first line of defense is pull the main breaker in your house. You've got to have something that runs on batteries when you pull your main breaker. If it goes away, here's the interference on that transistor radio. When you pull your main breaker and it goes away, it's in your house. Turn on one circuit at a time. Start looking for it. If it's outside trouble, well, you might want to get your power company involved. All right, let's move on to Leo down Fort Lauderdale, Florida, K4ITA. Good evening, Leo. And this is Dick, double get B2J BQ.
Good evening. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah. Good evening, Dick, Vicky, everybody. This is K4ITA Leo for Lauderdale. I have a question. My car is electric, and recently I was able to put HF radio, and I'm getting a problem that probably there is not a big, there is not a solution, but I'd just like to share this, see maybe if we can share some ideas. When the car is on, driving or not, I get a lot of noise coming most the motor, because when I turn it off, just with the regular electric, without motor running, the electric motor running, no noise. Get it on HF, get it on UHF, I do not get noise on VHF, that's really weird. And I get the same noise even when the radio is on battery, so I believe it's a RF problem. Well, ideas, back to net, and take.
We got most of that, Leo. You're looking like for some reason you don't have your usual, I guess, full quieting signaling. We're dropping a little packets, but I must admit I know absolutely nothing about electric cars, nor do I want to know anything about them. But I understand when everything is off. Is that what was that what we heard? Is that when you're getting the interference? Like I said, you were kind of broken up. When everything is off.
Okay, let's see. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me better. Give me 1 second. Yeah, probably you can hear me better now. I hope. Well, when the motor is running, when the electric motor is running, I believe it's a kind of the old noise of the old gas engine when they had to put the shield around the many years ago to shield the electric noise coming. It's kind of the same thing. I mean, it's not a big deal. I drive and talk on HF. I mean, I always stop my car and use it. But I was just curious to see if anybody has any idea. And again, I believe it's RF related. It's also when my video is on battery. Okay, back to you, Dick.
I think you were relating to back in the day with alternator wine. I think maybe that's what I got out of it. Well, let's put it out to the group. Like I said, I know nothing about electric cars. I'm sure that they're like with interference, like anything else in the world that we live. Anybody got any suggestions for Leo? Does anybody have an electric car that's running, HF or UHF or VHF? afraid the silence, Leo, tells the story here tonight. But I'm sure you're not alone. Like anything else, one of the guys was telling me he's been fighting running an HT in his truck, that he's getting into some sensor units. I suggested that he's running a mobile node. He's talking to his All-Star node with a portable, and I suggested that he put a dummy load on the HT, and apparently that didn't either. So he's getting into something in his truck. I don't remember exactly what. So there are issues out there. It's a little different than your problem, Leo, but it doesn't look like we're going to find an answer for you here tonight.
Well, I'm kind of expecting that because it's a weird problem. I believe everything has to be related to the motor, to the shield of the motor, most likely. But anyhow, it was just a curiosity because it's not nothing that is avoiding me to use radio on the car, and works very well. By the way, the good thing is that there is a limited battery. Having a huge battery on the car allows me to I could talk all along without using the battery. Okay, thank you very much. And by the way, the answer to the question is just to do what I like the Tech Net and all the other nets as they are now. Maybe we can talk in the room about the Quest, but that's a different matter. Everybody a great night. K4ATA. Back to you, Dick.
Leo, we'll probably hear you in the morning on the brew. All right, who else might have a technical amateur radio-related question? Sonny, please give us your call sign twice. Stick W2JPQ. Roger, I'm not hearing anything. Our questions have died off, and it's not only on this net. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks. We've checked in with several other tech nets around the country, and over the last 6-8 months, the technical questions have really dropped down. And we just figure it's YouTube and AI and the internet. And, we don't have an answer for it, but hopefully they'll pick back up here. We had more questions 13 years ago on our first TechNet than we had here tonight, but they're all welcome. I'm going to send it over to Roger, and he's going to take 10 text check-ins, and then he'll take some radio check-ins, and we'll go from there throughout the evening. And we'd like to know what changes you'd like to see on this net. A couple of weeks ago, we had instead of a technical question, we had a question that was kind of a fun question, and we found that we had more check-ins that night than if we have an amateur radio-related question. So maybe that's the key for a general question. Maybe we shouldn't keep it TechNet-related. So we're open. We're open for all suggestions, and we welcome them all, and we learn from you. I always say that you're our customers. We have to provide for whatever our users want, so we need to hear from our users, and I guess tonight is the night to hear from our users. Over to you. Thanks, everybody. This is Dick, WB2JPQ. Thank you, Vicky, KVKY, for logging as always.
Thanks, Dick. Couldn't have said it better myself. And thanks, Vicky, K8VKY, for doing the login. And yeah, we better find some fun questions, because even the text line here, there ain't that many. So maybe next week we'll have a fun question. Let us know if you would care, if it'd be more a bit like the morning brew questions, because we would always ask radio questions, and you have to make everybody happy. UHF, VHF, HF, not everybody has it. So that's kind of what we're looking for here. Might just ask some fun questions.
So on that note, let me clear it. Bottom up on the text check-in. K2AP Joe, Eastlip, New York. And I don't think I said who I was. This is KO4QMM Roger in Central Florida. I'll be your net controller for the rest of the evening for the East Coast Reflector 20-meter net. And let me move up to Andy, Cheektowaga, New York, W2AJR. Roy, Blaisdell, New York, KABYU. Mike, Valley Springs, California, K6. And Les, Claremont, Florida, KK4SED, and top of the list, Bob, Gallatin, Tennessee, KD2JPP. What do you think, Bob? What changes would you like to see, if any? Over.
Hey, Roger. Good evening. Evening to everybody else on the net. Well, I'm pretty happy the way it is. I was against this last change, but the net seems to run so much better with the way you guys have, laid it out now. So I was wrong on that one. So I'm not going to open my mouth with anything else. But no, I think the net's running really good. Everybody, the whole team is doing a great job. And if I think of something, I know I could always get it to any of the guys and or Dick. So. On that note, we'll just send it back to you at Net Control and have a great week. This is KD2JPP.
Right on, Bob. Thanks for joining this evening. And Les, Claremont, Florida, KK4SED. What do you think, Les? Good evening. Roger and everybody on the net. 64 degrees here at Claremont. I've been on the net for several years. I like the format as it's set up now. There's been a lot of changes over the years. I enjoy the questions, so I've gotten so much out of the questions over the years. Sometimes people are afraid to ask, but hey, they're bringing questions up, and that's great. KK4SED back to net. All right, Les, like to hear that. And you're a bit of a noise there this evening, but we got everything. To move on to Mike, Valley Springs, California, K6AAN. Good evening, Mike.
Well, hello there, Roger, and everybody on the net. As far as suggestions go, I suggest that we leave it the way it is, because it's really running good. Been there a long time, and you guys know what you're doing. I'm very happy with it, especially with the tech line. That is a real blessing for those. Just get on there, make your call, get you up on the list, and you can get through. Back to you, sir. This is K6AAN.
Yeah, the text line kind of changed that when we, instead of calling in for different numbers of where you supposed to be there, the text line changed that a little bit. Like, thanks for joining us. Let's move on to Roy, Blaisdell, New York, KABYU. Good evening, Roy. You like things the way they are, or you like to make it a little more fun? What do you think?
Hey, good evening, Roger, and everybody on the net. KABYU. I like everything just the way it is. No problems whatsoever. Back to you.
All right, Roy. Another leave it the way it is. Let's move on to Andy, Cheektowaga, New York, W2AJR. Good evening, Andy.
Good evening, Roger, everybody on the net. I'm not the kind of guy that likes to leave stuff alone. I like the format of the Tech Net and the fact that we can ask technical questions. The only thing I might add would be a presentation or a small introduction to different technologies at the beginning. Get somebody to talk about, Mesh-tastic or a particular type of antenna or, DMR or All-Star, something like that. A basic presentation, and then gear your questions afterwards on who uses that or who's interested in that, or if they have any questions about how to make that happen or whatever else. That's my only addition. Back to you, Roger. 73, everybody.
Very good, Andy. And you also got to be careful on asking questions. You might get a lot of long answers and could be a long night. So we always try to keep an eye on that too. Let's move on to Joe, bottom of the text list here. East Lip, New York to AP. Good evening, Joe.
Well, good evening, Roger, and good evening to everyone on the net. Well, I was where you were in Central Florida for the winter. Just got back. It was 87 degrees on Saturday, and it's 40 degrees now. Oh, well. Anyway, the only thing I would suggest possibly is if you have a technical question, maybe if there was a breakout room somewhere where you could show pictures or a video or something to discuss what the thing you're talking about is. Like, say, my oscilloscope is showing me this with this circuit, and I don't know why. Just something like that, possibly. I don't know if that's appropriate, but it's just a thought I had. K2AP, back to net.
Note taken, Joe. Sounds like a good idea too. We got plenty of Zoom rooms and stuff, and they've been doing a lot of work. Terry's been helping out for N5 RTC, and yeah, good idea. Thanks for that. All right, we're going to take in general check-ins. Anybody just like to come in, answer the question, what changes would you like to see in the TechNet? If none, just say none and say good evening to me. That'd be good, and the crew there. Anybody, anywhere, call me your call sign, mobiles, in and outs, general check-ins. Try to break it up for Vicky.
Changes in and out. W4FWN, W4 Foxtrot Whiskey, November.
Echo Mike, W2EM.
0 SYV.
6 Triple P, no traffic.
KJ4 UMK. KJ4 UMK.
KJ0 EF, KJ0 EF.
This is N1 WEB. N1 WEB.
All right, I'll grab it right there. Webb, Colleyville, Tennessee, and WEB. Joe, West Seneca, New York, AJOEF. Robert, KJ4 UMK, Pembroke, Kentucky. N6PPP, Chris, Maryland. Thanks, Chris. Have a great evening. KF0SYV, Galen, Woodbine, Iowa. W2EM, Chuck, Lancaster, New York. W4FWN, Dan, Sanford, Florida. KJL, Jose, Austin, Texas. And top of the list, KI5PMI, Bill Hobbs, New Mexico. This is KO4QMM in Central Florida. And let's go with Bill. What changes would you like to see on the TechNet, if any, Bill?
Good evening, Roger, and everybody on the net. I'm actually quite happy with the way it is. The deal with just doing call-ins and stuff now, it's really worked out pretty well. Seems to go a lot faster also. And but overall, I'm very happy. You can
pretty much get into Zoom room anytime you want. And my biggest problem is finding time to do radio stuff. So with that, I'm going to cut out. PMI, back to Ned. Again, thank you all for doing a great job.
Well, I got everything on that one, the time, my call sign, everything. Thanks, Bill, for joining us this evening, and we'll leave it like it is, and hope back to some fun questions next week and get a good lineup of people. Jose, Austin, Texas, KJ5MEL. Good evening, Jose.
Looking forward to any changes. Just keep it as it is. It's doing well as is. Thank you for taking my opinion. This is KJ5MEL, Austin, Texas. Over to net control.
Thanks, Jose. We're just trying to move with the times here, you know. Got to try to keep everybody happy and see what they like, and seems like it's going all right, so good to hear. W4FWN, that would be Dan, Sanford, Florida. Good evening, Dan. What changes would you like to see on the Tech Net, if any? Over.
Well, good evening to everyone on the net. It's W4FWN. I can't think of anything. I thoroughly enjoyed Charles tonight. Little blurbs like that are very informative, to the point, and I could identify with everything he was talking about. And little things like that would be good, but no changes. You guys are the East Coast Reflector is the one that everybody compares themselves to. I think they want to be more like it, so you're doing a good job. Back to net control. This is W4FWN.
Duly noted, my friend, and Dick smiling, and thanks for the flowers. This is what makes everything better, just listening to people and having some fun. It's what I enjoy about ham radio. So does this other guy, Chuck, from Lancaster, New York, that's down South Florida here for a little while longer. Sounds like a good thing you're still down here, Chuck. They're still getting some cold up there. W2EM.
Daughter's up on the St. Lawrence River, got today. It is what it is. Anyway, I think you got the format boiled down to a pretty good boilerplate there. And I like the way that they come in and have a little bit of a talk about a subject and questions and answers on it. And then questions and anything else that anybody has, go on from there. So I like it the way you have it now. So I'll turn it to net control. 73, everyone.
Well, Dick, the people are speaking. Sounds good so far. Get back to having some fun questions next week, and sounds good. Thanks, Chuck. You have a wonderful evening. KF0SYV, Galen, Woodbine, Iowa. Good evening, Galen.
Good evening, Roger and Vicki and Dick, everyone on the net. I haven't been into this net a lot very often, but I'd say, leave it the way it is. I enjoy the questions, our conversation, and it works good. I think you've got it nailed down pretty well. So with that, this is KF0AV 73s, back to the net.
Well, thank you, sir, for that, and duly noted. This is Roger, KO4QMM. Let's move on to Robert, Pembroke, Kentucky, KJ4UMK. Good evening, Robert.
Good evening. This is the first time listening to the net. Changing things, I can't give you an answer on that. Again, Pembroke, Kentucky, first time on the net. KJ4UMK, back to net control.
Yeah, I should have noticed that it was yellow there, and welcome to the East Coast Reflector Tuesday Night Tech Net. Check out eastcoastreflector.com, Robert. You'll see what we're all about. There's all kinds of nets and a Zoom room. You can go to the menu there, push on the nets, and go down to the Tech Net, and it'll show you the log. You can see what we're seeing and go along with it. So thanks for joining us, and duly check that out and join us on some other nets. And we had AJ0EF Joe, have a good evening, and my buddy Webb, Collierville, Tennessee, N1WEB. Webb, what do you think?
Thank you, Roger. Good evening to the net. Thank you for manning the log there. Boy, Roger, this is a tough question. You know, when you guys changed the format, I think it was last fall, to go from call zone check-ins to the method we're using now, you know, I said leave it alone, but boy, I tell you, this is better. I like it better. So I was wrong. And, you know, this is great. I really like the addition of the presentation format that Charles typically leads at the beginning. I think that's excellent. He's got the skill set to have a short yet detailed conversation of this technology, and it works real well. I don't really, I'd like to say leave it, but I want to leave just one, you know, brainstorming thing on the plate here. And it might be maybe open it up to other topics, you know, electronics or something else, certainly technology related, but, you know, maybe after the amateur radio related questions, you know, is there anything else that people might be wanting to ask? So I'll put that out there. And one WEB, back to the net.
Yeah, agreed, Webb. I don't think Dick needs to change anything on the beginning, that's for sure. You know, I do like the new people getting in there and asking for, you know, anybody that hasn't checked in for the first time, you know, I thought that was pretty good. And stick with the Charles thing. Oh, yeah. Everybody likes to hear what Charles got to say about the antennas and such. And, yep, none of that needs to change. But, yep, thanks for getting in there, Webb, and giving us your 2 cents. On that, listening to the East Coast Reflector Tuesday Night Tech Net. I'm your net controller, Roger, in Central Florida. And we can take any general check-ins, mobile, in and out. Come with your call sign, twice and slow.
Victor 44, India, Romeo. Victor 44, India, Romeo. St. Kitts.
Whiskey 4, Hotel Kilo Lima, W4HKL.
Kilo Romeo 4, India, Charlie Alpha, KR4, ICA, Randy, West Palm Beach. KE8WMI, KE8WMI from Ohio.
Kilo Foxtrot 4, Zulu, Lima, Golf. Kilo Foxtrot 4, Zulu, Lima, Golf. Take me in and out, 73. K6 GBZ, K6
GBZ, in and out.
AB1EX, AB1 in and out.
See, that's what I enjoy, getting a few lined up there. That's what keeps Roger happy. And after about 15 minutes, I'm warmed up, ready to go, you know what I'm saying? So, thanks for everybody that checks in. AB1EX, in and out, George, Madison, Alabama, thanks. Have a good evening. Tom, Cameron, Park, California, K6GBZ, have a good evening. KF4, ZLG, Dennis, New Bern, North Carolina, have a good evening. KE8WMI, James, Perrysburg, Ohio. KR4ICA, Randy, Royal Palm Beach, Florida. W4HKL, Steve, Cumberland Gap, Tennessee, and top of the list, V44IR, Anthony, St. Kitts. I just got St. Kitts on 12 meters today. Good evening, Anthony.
Good evening to you, Net Controller. Good evening to all the guys on the frequency. Hope you guys are doing good. We just here listening to Tech Net, and we check in. Just enjoy the conversation with you all have today. This is Victor 44 India Romeo, back to you, Net Controller.
Thank you for joining us this evening, Anthony, and you have a wonderful evening there in St. Kitts. Let's move on to Steve, Cumberland Gap, Tennessee, W4HKL. Good evening, Steve. What changes would you like to see to the TechNet, if any? Over.
Well, good evening. Well, you know, like some of the others, when I the change, I think about a year ago, I wasn't for it because but I was wrong, and it works better. So stand corrected on that. The only thing I can think of, I mean, the ECR is the gold standard as far as I'm concerned on the large networks that are out there, and the only thing I think of is maybe have a Discord server so it would be easy to like share diagrams, like say for plans for antennas or circuits or something like that. I know that some groups have those. I have no idea how hard it would be to maintain, or it might be a nightmare. You know, I really have no idea. But that's the only thing I think of. And when you consider Facebook and having the rooms, you know, it may be a solution looking for a problem. But anyway, that's all I got. Back to Net Control, enjoying it, and have a good evening. W4HL.
Vicky, ECR.radio/Discord, if that helps. Move on to Randy, Royal Palm Beach, Florida, KR4ICA. Good evening, Randy.
Good evening, Roger, and everyone on the net. No changes. I'm very happy to join the net. I think you guys are doing a great job. Just want to say that I hope everybody had a great Passover and a great Easter holiday break, and of course reaching out to those folks at Artemis 2. Congratulations on setting some amazing records, and wish them a safe journey home to Mother Earth. And as a veteran, my thoughts are with all our men and women that are serving right now, and I want to thank them for their service, and hope that they stay safe. And that's it. Back to Net.
Well, all I can do is agree to all of that, Randy. Thanks for joining us this evening, and we'll be looking for you on James, Perrysburg, Ohio, KE8WMI. Good evening, James.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great job, and I would keep it just the way it is for now, and any issues, I'll bring them up as they come up. Thank you.
You got it. It's what we like to hear. All right, that's the end of that list. Anybody else want to join us this evening? Say good evening and tell us if you want any changes or whatnot. Come with your call sign.
N2ZWR, N2ZWR.
Kilo Charlie 3, Foxtrot Golf Delta. Kilo Charlie 3, Foxtrot Golf Delta.
Well, I'm going to be going to bed later than I want because all the coffee I drank is going to waste. N2ZWR, Daniel, Radford, Virginia. KC3FGD, Ray, Elizabethtown, PA. Anybody else like to join us? That's what I mean by a good question. It usually brings a few more people in. We're only at like 36 check-ins, and I've seen 60. So that's what I like to see. All right, Ray, Elizabethtown, PA, KC3FGD. Good evening, Ray, and would you change anything on the Tech Net, or you like the way it is?
Hey, good evening, Roger, everyone on the net. Now I like it just the way it is. I think you pretty well have it perfected. Maybe a minor change here and there, but I can't think of anything at the moment. Hey, very cold evening here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, down at 24 degrees tonight. So I've got several of the veggies all covered up. Everyone have a great evening. Back to Roger at Deck Control.
Yes, sir. Take care of those vegetables. We always like to hear about the garden. You have a wonderful evening, Ray. Thanks for joining us. Daniel, Radford, Virginia, N2ZWR. Good evening, Dan.
Good evening to everybody on the net. And it's Dan for the log, make it official. I enjoyed the net. The only thing I miss is the celebrity call sign. I thought that was fun. And the announcements for the silent keys. I thought that memorializing members of the ECR family was important. Other than that, I love the weekly net. N2ZWR, back to net control.
You got it, Dan. Thanks for joining us. Anybody else? We're getting down to the calls here. If you'd like to come in, join us, say good evening, and let us know what you think of the Tech Net. Come with your call sign, twice and slow.
AEL4RCS, Kilo Lima 4, Romeo Charlie Sierra.
This 9 Yankee 4 Delta X-ray. 9Y4 DX Bertram.
All right, we got Bertrand. So it's good evening once we got you, my friend. 9Y4DX, Dad and Tobago. And we got Armin, Miami, Florida, W4AB. And Rich, Alaska, KL4CS. And via text line, Mark, Plymouth, Minnesota, 0CKV. Good evening, Mark. Would you change anything on the Tech Net, or you like the way it is? Over.
Good evening, Roger, Vicky, Dick, the rest of the net tonight. No, I wouldn't change anything. I'm happy with the way it sounds and the way it runs. 10-CKV back to net.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Rich, Alaska KL4RCS. Good evening, Rich.
Good evening from beautiful 46-degree Meadow Lakes, Alaska, KL4RCS. I think you guys do a good job on this net. I don't think really much needs to be changed. I didn't notice actually that the silent key thing wasn't there, but then again, that's always kind of a nice thing to know. Key thing. Celebrity call signs, that's an interesting one too. Other than that, you guys do a great job. Thanks for everything you do, all of you. From Meadow Lakes, Alaska, KL4RCS, back to net control.
I agree with you, Rich. You have a wonderful evening there. Thanks for joining us. W4AEB, Armand, Miami, Florida. Good
evening, everyone. This is W4AEB. Honestly, this is my first time on the Tech Net, so I can't say I have an opinion about it. I'll definitely have to do some listening, more listening in the future. I'm just calling in to show my support for ECR and the Net Crew this evening. So everyone have a good one. 73 W4AEB, back to net.
Love the support, my friend. We'll be looking for you on some of the other nets too. Have a great evening. Thanks for joining us. My buddy Bertrand, Trinidad and Tobago 9Y4DX. What do you think, Bertrand? We're doing all right, or should we change a few things around? Over.
Well, a pleasant evening to you, Net Control. KO4QMM, Roger. This is 9Y4DX, Bertrand. And yes, I'm in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. So let me extend a pleasant evening as well to all of the stations this evening. Tuesday evening, East Coast Reflector Tech Net. It's quite an experience to be here. I have no issues right now with the present way the net is being conducted. The only thing with it is when it was rotating, you know, where you will come early at some times and late at another time. However, it's good. What is good, what is working, needs no repair, needs no fixing. Well, that's it from me. Back to you, Net Control, Roger. KO4QMM. This is 9Y4. Yes.
Always count on you. Don't matter if there's a question or you're always there and reliable. Thanks for being there, Bertrand. You have a wonderful evening there in the Caribbean. 9Y4DX. This is KO4QMM with the East Coast Reflector Tuesday Night Tech Net, along with Vicky doing some logging there, KEAVKY. We're getting down to the last check-ins here. Anybody, anywhere?
JD2QQB, saying hello to that Caribbean station out in Trinidad. Hope that's good and nice and warm.
All right, I guess that's going to wrap it up, and we'll try to have everybody a good question next week that everybody can join in and give us a yes or no or whatever it might be. But it sounds like we're on the right path here, and yeah, getting rid of those districts that, you know, most everybody was 2s and 4s anyhow, and then there was just a few here and there. So I kind of like the way it is, and I'm enjoying myself. And that's that. On behalf of Dick, UB2JPQ, that runs this whole system here, and I got to thank him for that. Make everything fun for us, evening, nights. And we got the Wednesday night open mic night tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Everybody's welcome to that. We got the Thursday morning Tech Net, or 20-meter net, 10 o'clock, 14.317. And the Youth Net Friday evening. That's it, everybody. Hope everybody has a great evening. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Vicki. And this is KO4QMM. Everybody have a great evening. This frequency is back to normal amateur use. 7-3.
Thanks, Roger. 7-3. Have a good night.
Have a good night, and watch out for those Caribbean pirates. KD2 QQB.